Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Okay, Taylor Swift. Yesterday, she sent out a message on Instagram to her followers. She has 282 million followers on Instagram. Not all of them are in the U.S., obviously. But she posted up a message saying, today, March 5th, is the presidential primary in Tennessee and 16 other states and territories. I want to remind you guys to vote the people who most represent you into power. Use in all caps. If you haven't already make a plan to vote today. Whether you're in Tennessee or somewhere else in the U.S., check your polling places and times at vote.org. Okay. I believe Bo of the Fifth Column did a video on Taylor Swift, and he was noting within like an hour of her posting this up, the number of people 18 years old or so that registered to vote, doubled, or there was certainly a spike that could be correlated to this post. Now, mind you, she did not say to vote Democrat. She did not say to vote Republican. She said to vote for the people that best represent you and put them into power. That's a non-voter suppression message. So who's getting upset about the non-voter suppression message other than the party of voter suppression, the Republicans? Now, we could look at this. Most young people tend to be a lot more open-minded, a lot more progressive, and a lot more liberal than folks on the other end of the spectrum age-wise. So if Taylor Swift tells 100,000 young people and gets 100,000 young people to register to vote, probably 55 or 60% of them would be voting as Democrats or progressives. And the other 40 to 45% might be Republicans and would vote that way. So it's not like the one party's getting all the votes and the other one isn't, but it's going to go down ideological lines, and the Democrats are better aligned currently with young people than the Republicans are. And the Republicans are okay with that. They haven't been trying to recruit young people. They haven't been trying to get that vote. They rely on older people, military folks, rural people, uneducated, well, for Trump, men who don't have college degrees. They form core pockets, evangelicals, the whole nine yards, the MAGA folks and everything like that. And that doesn't mean you can't have young MAGA folks and young Freedom Caucus folks, but young people tend to be more progressive. So let's look at the energy around Taylor Swift and her messaging to get out and vote. Entertainment purposes only. Okay, so we have the Two of Wands. She, certainly in years past, she's had much stronger urgings for people. She did not want folks in Tennessee to vote for Marsha Blackburn because Marsha Blackburn is a fairly wretched person. So I don't blame her for that. There was a little bit of a video that was playing on YouTube, and it was her talking with her parents, and her parents not wanting her to get into politics a few years ago. But she basically said, Marsha Blackburn is a horrible person. She says she represents Tennessee Christian values. I'm from Tennessee. I have Christian values, and she does not represent what I'm taught are Tennessee Christian values. And pretty much Taylor Swift was at that point was also saying, our government's on the line. Our democracy's on the line. So Taylor Swift gets it. This girl's worth billions. She could do whatever she wants, and she'll still have billions. Doesn't matter who's in charge, but that's not enough for her. It's not the money that drives her. It's the passion. So anyways, getting out the message, telling people around the world, not just the United States, mind you, but around the world to vote. Just because just because the U.S. elections doesn't mean that folks in England or Australia or Denmark or Germany or France or Mexico or Brazil, it's like their votes are important too. So everybody get out and vote. And make a deal to get out and vote. She is connecting with people. She's using her star power to influence things. Mind you, she's not out there saying go vote for Joe Biden. She's out there saying go vote. Vote for the people that best represent you. And right now, the person that best represents you is not this person. I also think underneath, she doesn't want to necessarily recommend a candidate because then she's pigeonholed. And she doesn't want to be pigeonholed. Right now, she's taking a much more neutral approach. But underneath it all, we kind of can read between the lines, which is, and as can the Republicans, so we know why they're upset. They know that when she's telling people to vote, that the majority of those people are going to be voting for Democrats, and that is toxic and lethal to their desire to control everyone and everything. There's an appropriate card. In the past, she's been a pop star, and she's developed a huge following, the Swifties as they're called. And, you know, it's funny, isn't she just like the antithesis of the Kardashians? The Kardashians are like Zsa Zsa Gabor, you know, famous for being famous, but not a whole lot of, you know, substance behind these people. She's actually a person of substance. She's a singer, she's a songwriter, she's a musician. She has earned her fame and fortune, and she's now flexing her muscles to do things to make the world a better place. But notice how she's not telling people what to do. Like, she's not saying, you should vote for this person. She's saying, you should register to vote and go out and vote. Participate. Vote your values. Current situation is Knight of Cups. She's in great shape. She is held in very high regard. She has a very passionate fan base. The Republicans can attack her, and she doesn't care. She knows that they're a bunch of trolls. She has to deal with trolls on a daily basis. These old white men that are trying to tell her what to do and tell her to, oh, you're a pop star. Just go stick to music. Stay out of politics. Nobody needs to know what you think about politics. She doesn't care what they think because they're not her target audience. And they will never be her target audience. So she's got really good boundaries, and she's really good at holding up three fingers and telling you to read between the lines. Read between the lines, Fox News. Current situation, the overarching energy of the current situation is the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah. She's putting things into motion. She knows that this election, she gets it. She understands this 2024 election is pretty much for all the marbles. This will give us a 2-year reprieve to avoid an authoritarian government. The gravity of the situation is not lost on this young woman. Lesson to be learned is temperance. This is a long game. Wow, look at all the major arcana here. Pow, pow, pow. This is a long game. She is playing a long game. She is getting people, you know, setting out the message, getting them to vote. And by getting young people to vote, you're going to start taking down the toxicity level. Young people get their news from different sources than older folks. So she's trying to help. And detoxify politics, she's trying to help all of her fans, regardless of their gender, their sexual orientation, or their nationality. The outcome is Queen of Cups. I don't think she is necessarily going to, at least at this time, she's not going to endorse Biden. I don't think she needs to. The choice is obvious. She doesn't need to tell you who to endorse. She doesn't need to tell her fans who to endorse. They can figure it out because it's pretty darn obvious. Don't vote for the orange guy. So, yeah, she doesn't have to tell them what to do. Or I should say, she can tell them what to do. Get out and vote. Register to vote. Get out and vote. But she won't be telling them who to vote for. What their values are. Just vote your values. Understanding that, again, some percentage of her fans are going to vote for the orange guy. But probably a lot more aren't. Okay. How will Taylor Swift be feeling after the November elections? How is Taylor Swift going to be feeling after the November elections? After she's had her messages of getting out and voting and having her fans get out and vote for people that represent their values. How is she going to be feeling after the election? Eight of Cups. Walking away. Going on tour. No, she's not going to be going. It's not. Well, she could be going on tour. I think it's like her job is done. She did her job for this one, and now she may not continue the political advocacy, but I think she's answering the moment. And there's victory, crossed with victory in the Wheel of Fortune. I think she's done what she can do. She's not going to push any harder than she needs to push because she doesn't want to alienate her fan base. Because if you alienate your fan base, you're not uniting people, you're dividing people. So you push them to vote, you don't tell them who to vote for. But I think she comes away feeling victorious. Because probably the candidate that she feels best represents her values may be reelected, or that the majority of her, a lot of her fans, if we want to keep it apolitical, a lot of her fans went out and voted. And they voted for the people that best represented their values. So it's a success for her. Underneath is the Wheel of Fortune. Now, I was just saying I don't know if she'll carry it on. This says she will be carrying it on. She just doesn't need to do it at this time. She can take a break and go attend to other things. Yeah, she might need an emotional break. She might just have butterflies up the wazoo if this election is even remotely close. But I think she's fine, and I think this is not the last we're going to see of her advocating for people to be involved in their elections. In the past, leading up to the election, you've got the Two of Coins. Ups and downs, trying to get people to look at their values. And you know what it is? It's probably a balance of how do I get people activated without alienating them? Because people have different values. They value different things. But the one thing they can agree upon is that they like Taylor Swift music. How is she feeling after the election? She's balancing things. It's a huge burden, but I think it's a burden lifted. As she walks away, she was carrying a lot. She did her part to bear the burden of this country. The devil was there. The devil was over everything, and that's why this was such a burden, because you needed to get the victory because the alternative was an authoritarian government. Lesson to be learned. She manages to attain her victory and kept her emotions in check. Trump is really good at getting people to lose control of their emotions, and he takes advantage of that chaos. Outcome is the Six of Coins. This is going to help marginalized people. How is she feeling after the election? This guy's no longer an issue. He was the issue for the 2024 election. He was the burden why she carried the burden. He's the reason why she had to keep her mouth shut. But in the end, it's benefiting the American people, and it benefits marginalized people. I think she also donates to charities. She's going to go out and raise more money and help more people. And she's just going to do that more and more. I wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't already have a foundation or a charity. And I'm going to have to look that up. If she doesn't have one, she might start one. Something like that. Doing more than just being an entertainer. She is going to be like a cultural icon on many levels. Kind of think of like she might be the young people's like Dolly Parton, for instance. Forgive the height differences and the curvy figure differences, but Dolly had a way of reaching across to all people and trying to be inclusive and get people to vote with their values and think with their values. And then, Dollywood and things that she does to help with charities. And she doesn't really go out of her way to advertise stuff like that. She's going to be like their version of Dolly Parton. She's going to be beloved for it. And that's awesome. I'm happy for them. This younger generation needs their heroes, and Taylor Swift seems to be a pretty solid choice. Okay, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for your likes, your shares, your comments, everything you do to feed the YouTube algorithm so this video makes it out to a wider audience, to folks just discovering this channel for the first time. Welcome to the channel. I hope you found it insightful, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.